Hi everybody, my name's Elle and welcome back to Death Stranding. We'll be reading all the Higgs journals together, and if they're anything tragic like the Lucy reports, I'm a little nervous, so let's get started. Higgs journal, journal number 1. Today I made a delivery to a shelter near Middle Knot City. It was my longest trip to date, a new personal best. Back when I started out, people tried to warn me off the life, saying it was dangerous for prepper youngins to make runs, and that no one would ever really trust me. But what was I supposed to do? Kids without parents need to eat too, and it's not like I had any skills. 2 arms, 2 legs, whole lot of grit, that's all I had to offer. Worked out okay so far. I bring people what they need, and in return, they do right by me. The more deliveries I make, the more orders I get. Never a porter around when you need one, so as long as you don't mess up too badly, someone ought to throw you a bone. Helps that I've got a 6th sense for BTs too. Pretty rare, that. It's probably one of the reasons why I get so much work. Sometimes people praise me, tell me I'm doing society a service by helping my fellow man. Can't say that factors into it. I'd sooner keep to myself if I could, but I've got to survive somehow, and I sure as hell ain't gonna manage by myself. Journal 2. Another prepper's kicked the bucket. I went to deliver his medicine as usual this morning, but I guess I was pretty late. Poor guy wasn't just dead, but on the verge of going necro. Wasn't no time to take him to an incinerator, so I had to dump him in nearby BT territory. Better than leaving him to pop, especially since my own shelter is close by. Gotta look out for number 1. When I dumped him, though, just before he popped, it was like I could feel the BTs reacting to the corpse. Saw the beach, too. Strangest thing, but I'd felt it before, when I first disposed of someone. The sensation was stronger this time, though, no doubt about it. Don't know if this means I've got dooms, but I'm starting to think there's something special about me. A delivery outfit out west heard tale of my BT sensing abilities and has expressed an interest in bringing me on board. Seems they operate outside Bridge's sphere of influence, and they want to leverage my experience and know-how to expand their operation. Could be interesting. I started making runs out of necessities to stay alive, but that's all changed. I'm an altruist now. I live to help other people. Preppers around these parts rely on me. Hell, they wouldn't have last 5 minutes without me. What would my daddy say if he could see me now, He taught me man's his own keeper, but here I am, part of a community. Working with other people, bringing the world together. Daddy always told me that the wide, wide world was dangerous. That he had to stay in our shelter, spend our whole lives there, die there. Well, screw that. Community's what it's all about. Buddy of mine died today. He was out in the mountains on a delivery, and it was so foggy. I guess he lost sight of the trail. He called me asking for help, and then the line went dead. I saw the void out from here, nearly blinded me. Guess he wandered into BT territory. There's not many of us porters left these days. Not many you could trust to get the job done anyway. Folks quitting or dying, going mule. Attrition's sucks. If we're to keep on, we're going to need better equipment and someone else who can track BTs. I can still manage sometimes, but my power's getting weaker. I can feel it. Just wish I knew what to do, because at this rate, I'm screwed. We all are. Ha and ka, body and soul. The two become separated. You die, in this world at least. That death ain't the end, though. So long as your soul's got a body to come back to, you can be reborn, resuscitated anyway. That's why people built coffins and sarcophagi, to preserve the body so the soul had a home it could return to. I learned all this and more from an old book I found, The Wisdom of Egyptians. Chock full of interesting tidbits about death and how to overcome it, like a golden death mask of pharaohs, the ones decorated using magical adornments as an indication of the wearer's prestige and power. I tell you what, if we've learned anything from the beach, it's that the Egyptians had it all figured out. That's why I've decided to give myself a mask. Not a death mask, though, but one for the living, for ruling. Today's the last day anyone sees my face. I don't need it anymore. A Bridges way station out west just got taken out by terrorists, used a void out to do it. They dumped a corpse nearby and let it go necro, dropping BTs right in people's laps. Word is demons heard that Bridges was sending an expeditionary force out west to facilitate the reconstruction of America, or some such. Guess they didn't take kindly to that. Terrorists, separatists, isolationists, all these folks claim America is coming for their freedom. That the old guard wants to put them in chains. make the individuals subservient to the collective. They ask what it's all for in a post-stranding world when today's triumph is tomorrow's crater. Daddy used to spout the same tired line, saying America never did nothing for nobody. That's why we took to living in a shelter. Better down in the hole than out there under their thumb. Yeah, he was a real saint, my daddy. Tried to run a few times, but he'd just drag me back inside, kicking and screaming where he'd put those heavy hands of his to work and remind me what happened if I disrespected his authority. But that's love, isn't it? His way of looking after an orphan child he raised on his own. He was only trying to protect me from the evils of the outside world. I owe him my life and my powers too. First time I ever said BT was when I held him moments before he went necro. Just like when I dumped that prepper's body, my daddy showed me that corpses are precious, powerful things. They're so much more than bombs. Terrorists ought to treat them with proper respect. I've had us team up with a bunch of porters who service the central part of the country. Had to be done. The writing was on the wall for my crew otherwise. And guess what? Their leaders got dooms. I've got a feeling we're going to be good friends. Demons and terrorists have been getting more aggressive ever since the Bridges expedition team set out. As if BTs and mules weren't enough, now we've got to keep our eyes peeled for those assholes when we are making our runs. All the more reason we've got to come together and get organized. Me and my new partner, we've been talking about consolidating our operations so we can cover the whole continent. If we do, I suppose that'd make us the UCA in some respects. Different structure and methods, but similar ideology, a deep and abiding belief in importance of community. But the devil's in the details, isn't it? Rules, structures, can't just let people make decisions for themselves, and therein lies the risk. Can't have us repeating the sins of the past with another USA. And demons, well, they ain't about to think for themselves. At the end of the day, a community needs a strong leader, and the God's honest truth is that I'm the only one cut out for it. The rumors I'd heard about my new partner's powers don't do her justice. I knew she had dooms, but she's on a whole nother level. I tell you, I've never seen anything like it. Not only can she perceive BTs, but she can actually use the beach. Compared to hers, my powers are nothing. Parlor tricks, courtesy of a few corpses. But it doesn't matter, not so long as I've got her. Before we met, I was bound by the limitations of my abilities. I was a blind man groping for shadows of a secret realm. But now, because of her, I can actually go to the beach. The beach! With her by my side, I can reshape this world, not into what it was with the old USA, not like what Bridges wants. Something new, something everlasting, right here and now, a world where we are free to do whatever we please. My partner's powers are extraordinary, sure, but deep down I know the two of us alone don't have what it takes to bring true everlasting freedom to the people. Everything we've done, that we continue to do, no matter how much it may seem to bring people together, it's still a far cry from what it should be. Timefall, BTs, chiral clouds, all this and more serves to cut us off from the rest of creation, and I have to say, I don't think that's ever going to change. Even people like me and my partner, we have our limits, but now I've met someone who has none. Someone who could save the world from this madness, make it whole again, put our shattered pieces back together. Samantha America Strand, Amelie. The moment I met her, I knew she was destined to make us whole again. She told me we'd do it together and even gave me a gift, a bridge baby. It's a BT sensor of sorts, although it looks like a newborn, but it's not. Amelie says it was born on the beach, and that it serves as a link between our world and the other side. Between me and her, too, if I keep it with me at all times. She called it a new child for a new era. I'm not just a delivery guy anymore, I'm a herald for her and her new world. She's given me everything I ever wanted, ever needed, and now I'm free to cut fragile loose. BB reminds me of a baby doll, but it's no toy. That's for sure. Neither dead nor alive, half human, half something else. An inhabitant of the in-between, like a mummy. A lump of flesh wrapped around a shriveled yet still beating heart. So many symbols to choose from, all signifying that humanity's reached the end of the road. The stranding was big number 6. I see that now. And so much more. The void outs, the bodies birthing BTs, all aspects of a single phenomena that exists solely to wipe us off the face of the earth. We can't stop what's coming. It's inevitable. Putting Humpty Dumpty back together again won't change a thing, and risking life and limb to try is a fool's errand. Why sacrifice what little you've got in the here and now for a future that'll never come? It's wasteful and meaningless. Amelie agree, I'm sure. I met Amelie on the beach again and pressed her for more answers about the stranding, but she wouldn't give me anything. Maybe she's got nothing left to give. Maybe she's waiting till the time's right. I don't know. I don't care. We all know that there's no escaping extinction. I'm struggling to see her angle. Why even pretend to rebuild? Why rail against the inevitable? If there's another layer to this, I can't work it out, and I'm getting sick and tired of trying. If she's not going to let me in on her plans, I'm going to have to assume the worst and take matters into my own hands. Give humanity the coup de grace myself. Just need the power to do it. Dear Diary, today I nuked Middle Knot City. Wiped it clean off the map. Didn't carry the bomb myself, of course. Fragile did the honors. Since delivered my mercy to the people like a good little porter. I'm sure she's surprised, but she shouldn't be. Death and deconstruction are part of a parcel of the human condition. And bringing people together only exacerbates that. Be careful what you wish for, eh? It's like when our ancestors came from the old world to the new and brought their old world diseases with them. Natives had no immunity and over half died in a blink of an eye. Bam! And we've only come up with better, more effective ways of killing ever since. The network's just another means of hastening the end. This was always the logical conclusion of our efforts, mine and Fragile's. Maybe that's why I partnered up with her, because in my heart of hearts, I knew it was building to this. Sam Porter, where to begin? Doom's repatriate lone wolf, Amelie's adopted brother. Impression I get is that he's a loner who found meaning in being a good Samaritan. Yeah, I tried that mask on for size once upon a time. Sweet little Amelie, though, she buys into his act, thinks he's got what it takes to make America whole again. I tell you what, the more I look into it, the more it seems like he might actually be a true believer. Anyway, he's a dead man walking, even with Amelie's help. He'll be in Central before long, and the second he shows, I'm bringing a lot of BTs down on his head and turning that place into a crater. Then it's bye-bye, Sam Porter. Bye-bye, Bridges HQ. Bye-bye, Expedition Team. Sam's still alive, not even a void out enough to keep a repatriate down. Sticks in my craw. Second expedition got wiped out, obviously, but Sam seems happy to head west all by himself. He's crazier than me, or maybe he's just desperate. Still can't figure out why rebuilding the nation's so important to him. Well, whatever. He wants to keep at it. He can be my guest. Even if he still had the others backing him up, it wouldn't make a difference. Ending's already been written. I've worked out exactly how it's going to go down. But Doom's alone isn't enough. I need a greater power to finish the job, to rain down fire and brimstone on these modern-day Sodoms and Gomorrahs. What is that? I've discovered the truth about the Death Stranding. Amelie's powers have nothing to do with Doom's. She's deconstruction incarnate, the angel of the Death Stranding, the extinction entity. I understand now what my true role is, the bridge that will deliver her judgment to this world, the executor of the end. No one knows, not even Sam, but they will. Sam's arrived in Port Knot City, and with Fragile to boot. Think I'll meet them there and bring a BT or two along for the ride. It's past time I showed Bridges how powerful I've become. Come one, come all. We all will have ourselves an annihilation party. And when it's over, there'll be no one left to come between me and Amelie and the end of the world. Sammy boy's stubborn, just ain't the quitting type. Seems it's rubbing off on Amelie, too. Girl's trying to fight her true nature. Flip the script. For all the good it'll do her, what difference does it make if it ends tomorrow or a million years from now? This planet's 4.6 billion years old in the universe. God only knows. Humanity's entire history is a blip on that time scale. What's the point of fighting for a fraction longer? Anyway, Sam and Fragile made it to Lake Knot City, which is just as well. I reckon my old partner's due for a stroll down memory lane, a saunter through the crater she carved out with that nuke of mine. Come to think of it, maybe Sam ought to walk with her. Yeah, I think I'll have him make a special delivery for me. Well, Sam and Fragile managed to dispose of my nuke before it went off. They weren't smart enough to see through my disguise, but something must have tipped them off. Probably that I wrote on the tag. I know I should have resisted the temptation, but come on, who the hell reads that shit anyway? And now he's halfway to the coast. But he's in my neck of the woods now, and my boys ain't about to let up. We're going to make him regret ever messing with me and mine. What was the storm that sucked up Sam? A supercell or whatever? I hooked up my BB just before I arrived and it started shaking and blinking and it's all gone sideways and there's something else out there. Something all kinds of messed up. Don't need BB to tell me that. I've got Amelie. Finally. She's trapped in Edge Knot City. A horde of BTs all around. She's not going anywhere now. No, I'm going to take good care of my sweet little angel of death. My extinction entity. We've got plans. Me and her. As for you, Sammy boy, you're going to learn what it means to really suffer. Welcome to Edge, Sam. You're an asshole, but I've got to admit, you've got grit. You remind me of me in that regard, because we share a connection to Amelie. She gave you your dream catcher, me my Kipu, but we've never seen her face, have we? Never looked her in her eye and seen her for what she truly is. Time to wake up and smell the ashes, Sammy boy. Time for me to tell everyone the truth that hides at the heart of the stranding. You're gonna love it. I'd go grab some shut-eye at the distro center or wherever it is you were. We've got a showdown coming, and you're gonna wanna be fighting fit. Just don't keep me waiting too long. You're all alone now. You've lost everything. Your mask, her kipu, the BB doll, gone. You thought you had the power, that you were the one fated to lead them into extinction, yet here you are alone. You thought you were in control, that this was your role, your dream, the verge of victory of oblivion for one and all. Herald, executor, pawn, god particle, a stupid name for a stupid fool. This was your life, Higgs, your tale told by an idiot full of sound and righteous fury, signifying nothing. Oh. My first memory is of looking up at our ceiling of our shelter as a baby bawling my eyes out. All of a sudden, the hand of God comes into view, blotting out the steel sky. Daddy. Lifts me up, not gentle but not hard, shouts some stuff, but it's all gibberish. I can't make heads or tails of it. He ain't my real daddy, though. That one died before I was born, and Mama soon after. Of disease or something, I don't know. Her brother took me in, whisked me away from that shelter, reeking of piss and death, and brought me here, daddy number 2. He never really took to it. He was ugly, violent man, full of anger, with nowhere to go. Tried to love me in his own way, but I don't know if he ever had it in him. Daddy told me our shelter was our world, and I believed him. I grew up thinking no one but us two existed. Then, when I got a little older and I started asking some questions, simple questions about where the food came from, that kind of thing, got smacked upside the head for my troubles, but try as he might, he couldn't beat the curiosity out of me. One day I peeked at his monitor. It was the first glimpse I'd ever caught of the outside world. I pestered Daddy about it, and you bet I caught hell for it, but I wore him down, and eventually he came clean and admitted that there was a whole world out there, soaked to the bone by timefall and overrun by demons that eat me up. It occurred to me later that his fear-mongering probably got my mama killed, filling her head with his hysterics about the dead walking the earth and the only safe haven being 6 feet under. My mama entrusted me to her brother, so he had no choice but to raise me best he could. Say what you will about the man, but he had himself a sense of obligation. He might even have harbored a measure of affection for me, but whatever was in his heart, he expressed with his hands, his fist. Any hopes and dreams he might have had for me, for us, fell by the wayside pretty quick. We slipped into a daily routine of warnings to stay inside, bookended by beatings to drive the point home. I think sometimes he sincerely believed that that was the only way to protect me, but I wasn't about to go on living like that. Can't cage a young boy's spirit. If I had stayed, I would have died, body and soul. I had to get out, started hoarding supplies in secret, but he caught on. That was the beginning of the worst beating yet. He was grabbing anything and everything within reach that could be used as a weapon, tearing our shelter apart, smashing furniture, all the while wailing like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. He pinned me down, tears and spit flying in my face as he blubbered on about me not understanding his pain. His pain. His hands wrapped around my neck, darkness creeping in from all corners. His pain. His pain. The kitchen knife in my hands, his neck, his hands, his hands. They grow weak and he just deflates like a balloon all over me. I roll him off and I look into his glassy eyes filled with his pain and our still sky. I didn't know how to feel after. I spent the night next to him, my mind blank canvas. In the back of it, a nagging voice saying I had to dispose of it. Daddy hadn't told me much, but he had told me about how bodies go necro, pop BTs, and all that. Made for a good bedtime story, so I knew what would happen if I let him lie. Death come for our home and turn it into a crater. His stink was starting to fill up the room, and I had to deal with him. Had to get him out. Get it far away as possible, so I got my arms under his and dragged him out into a new world with a new sky. Bigger, emptier, bare rock, dotted with bushes all around, mountains off in the distance, chiral clouds hugging their peaks. My knees started getting wobbly, and the world began to spin. But I knew the clock was ticking. Eyes down, gotta deal with Daddy. I've been moving at a steady clip when I saw it, chiralium coming off of Daddy, little motes of shimmering light. I was out of time. I laid him down in the dirt, but before I let go, I had a vision. My hand still resting on his body disappeared, vaporized into fine mist. Poof! And then I felt another presence, a BT, coming slow but sure, like it been walking since the beginning of time. Daddy's keeper, that was the first one I sensed, but it wasn't the last. For a long while after, I remained awakened to their presence. A sixth sense, Daddy's parting gift to me. Over time it faded, but I knew how I got it, and I knew how to get it back. All I needed was another body, and I got real good at making them. Death for life, theirs for mine, a fair exchange. Ooh. Coffin number 1. The head of the outfit, who recognized my talents and sought me out, was a woman who called herself Coffin. The things she told me, whoo boy, I'd heard that Bridges wanted to rebuild America, which was all well and good, but made no difference to me. I was content to stick with my smaller circle of associates, mind my business, and stay alive. But Coffin, she spun me a different yarn. Said the Bridges was out to mess the world up, and then some, that their plan for rebuilding America involved honest-to-God human sacrifice of unborn children at that. These so-called BBs were being carted to some factory by the boatload to be slaughtered. She and her friends even done some of the carting themselves unwittingly. The guilt was eating her alive. So Bridges are using children for their own ends. Them and Daddy get along so swell. Not Coffin, though. Seems she and her crew are behind the spate of recent terrorism. Not that she considers it to be terrorism, of course. Me neither. If Bridges is doing that, what she claims, then someone's got to make them pay. Am I right? Ain't no value in false connection, especially if it comes at a steep cost like that. Some things a man can't abide, so I'll stand with Coffin and follow her lead, even if it's got to be in secret. Coffin gave me a mission. We said our goodbyes and went our separate ways. She took a team and raided the BB factory. Their strategy was solid, and it shouldn't have gone like clockwork. Save the kids, shut down the operation, everyone goes home feeling good. And then Bridges went off and blew the factory to Kingdom Come, wiped out everything and everyone in an instant. Of course, that wasn't the story they fed the public. Instead, they announced that despite terrible destruction and loss of life, they'd finally managed to eliminate the terrorist threat, or some BS. Little do they know that Coffin survived. Guess whatever tunnels they built underground held up better than anticipated. No idea who else is down there or how they're holding up. Haven't heard from her in a while. Best to keep my distance and let Bridges think she's dead. I've got my own mission after all. Gotta head west, play a good little porter for a little while. Only way to save the BBs and put a stop to Bridges. And do right by Coffin and her daughter, should we ever cross paths. Wonder if we'll ever meet again. In my dreams, maybe. Okay, Higgs is messed up. Higgs sounds like he is the result of a very traumatic childhood, an abusive childhood, wanted to survive, and then realized after meeting Amelie that the world's going to end anyway. So why not be merciful and just go ahead and end it now? And then Amelie changed her mind and went for Sam, and he's like, well, I'm still going to do it anyway because this is like the right thing to do. Oh, buddy. And, like, he just wanted to survive. And then, like, at one point, he was trying to save BBs. And it sounds like he truly thought his baby doll was a BB. Oh, buddy. So the journals definitely add a lot of context for some characters. A lot of background, and it's sad. It is real sad. I hope they add this into Death Stranding too, like these kinds of things. This adds a lot to it. And like, I feel bad for Higgs. I feel a little bad for Higgs. Never thought I'd say that. But if this is the kind of content you enjoy, please press that like button, subscribe, ring that bell. That way you get notified when the next video comes out. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.